support for their students.
That's the programme for this evening. If you missed any of our stories, you can catch up on iView. Thank you very much for your company tonight. Good night.
There's never been a more important time to stay up to date and in the know.
Rights groups saying this is the ultimate symbol of Hong Kong's shrivelling press freedoms.
Every weeknight, we bring you the biggest international news from around the globe.
You'd think that Anutin and the Wurundjeri Thai party were a shoo-in to win these elections.
So join me, Girish Sawlani, for the latest stories in your world.
Rarely in the Islamic Republic's history has it appeared so vulnerable.
The World, weeknights at 9 on ABC News.
Good evening, I'm Yvonne Yong.
And I'm Girish Sawlani with ABC News, coming to you from the land of the Wurundjeri people.
Tonight we're bringing you continuing coverage following the Prime Minister's nationwide address discussing the impact of the war in the Middle East on Australian households.
Earlier tonight, Anthony Albanese warned Australians the months ahead may not be easy, urging everyone to do their bit and respond in the Australian way as the war sends the price of fuel soaring. And that's the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese with that address to the nation a short time ago. Now, Patricia Carvelas, host of Afternoon Briefing, is in Canberra and joins me now for some analysis. Patricia, hi there. Now, given this was a rare address to the nation, usually reserved for times of crises, was it warranted because what was in the speech had already been said before? Okay, on to what Donald Trump is going to say tomorrow. Patricia Carvelas, really appreciate your analysis from Canberra. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well, the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has also addressed his nation today, giving an update a short time ago on the latest developments in the Middle East and the impacts on the UK. And we can bring you that address now.
Thank you. I will now take...
Well, that was the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer giving an update on how the situation in the Middle East is impacting the UK. Let's get more on this now with reporter Cyan Valence, who joins us from London. Now, Cyan, the British Prime Minister talking about several points there. What stood out for you in his speech? Cyan, thank you so much. Cyan Valence talking to us from the London studio there on Keir Starmer's speech. Well, back home, Opposition Leader Angus Taylor says the Prime Minister's address did not reveal any new details or a plan.
He told the 7 Network Mr. Albanese needs to be clear about whether Australia has enough fuel to go around.
Well, let's get more analysis on tonight's national address by the Prime Minister. Lurion de Mello, energy economist and senior lecturer in applied finance at Macquarie University, joins us from Sydney. Now, Lurion, what did you make of the speech tonight and also the government's response to the fuels crisis sparked by the war in the Middle East? Lurion de Mello, really good to get your thoughts tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, the slashing of the fuel excise has come into force and some states are already seeing reductions at the Bowser. Knowing relief is on the way has been welcomed by many, including drivers who rely on their cars for work. The Socceroos have completed a comprehensive 5-1 win over Curaçao in Melbourne in their final home match before the World Cup in North America in June.
The Socceroos, though, now know their first opponent at the World Cup after Turkey defeated Kosovo 1-0 overnight to secure qualification, while Italy suffered a heartbreaking defeat.
And that's the latest from ABC News. I'm Yvonne Yong.
And I'm Girish Sawlani. Stay with us. The business is up next, and I'll be back at 9 p.m. with The World. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
The great property divide. Sydney and Melbourne house prices under the hammer, but why Perth is leading a surge of smaller capitals.
But what we've seen more generally is this widening divergence between individual cities.
And a COVID-style rescue package for small business as the top end of town pledges to take the pressure off.
The simple point is that we are all in this together and that we need to support one another where we can.
Welcome to The Business. I'm Kristen Aiken. The housing market is divided, with prices going backwards in the nation's biggest cities, but the smaller capitals still going ahead, led by Perth. As Adelaide Miller reports, sellers are having to trim their expectations as rising interest rates hits the purchasing power of buyers. Bran Black, thank you.
Thanks so much.
And that's all from The Business. Thanks for watching.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, the 1st of April. Our top stories. The Prime Minister's national address urging Australians to keep calm and carry on as the local impact stemming from the Iran war intensifies. Donald Trump tells allies, get your own oil from the Strait of Hormuz, while hinting the US could again pull out of NATO. And Prime Minister Keir Starmer insists his country will not be drawn into the war as Donald Trump accuses the UK of not even having a navy. You're watching The World. Hello, I'm Girish Sawlani. Good to have your company. Also tonight, we look at the worsening situation in Lebanon as Israel's military campaign forces more than 1 million people to flee their homes. Well, the Prime Minister has tonight made a rare address to the nation as the war in the Middle East continues to send fuel prices soaring, impacting households across the country. Anthony Albanese has urged people to save fuel for people who need it most and to consider taking public transport where possible. The cut to the fuel excise delivered some relief today, but some petrol stations are still running dry. And the Prime Minister has warned that the next few months won't be easy. Well, more than 1 million people have been forced to flee their homes in Lebanon as Israel pushes on with its military campaign. It's placing immense pressure on government and community resources already stretched thin by previous conflicts. You're watching The World, the top stories we are following tonight. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese asks Australians for cooperation and calm in a national address on the local impacts of the war in Iran. Donald Trump threatens to pull the US out of NATO while issuing a new deadline for the reopening of the Hormuz Strait. And Keir Starmer says the UK won't be drawn into the Iran war as he details his government's plans for coping with the economic fallout. Well, more now on our top story, and Opposition Leader Angus Taylor says the Prime Minister's national address tonight did not reveal any new details or a plan. He told the 7 Network Mr. Albanese needs to be clear about whether Australia has enough fuel to go around. Golf star Tiger Woods will step away from the sport and seek treatment after his involvement in a car accident last week. The 50-year-old escaped injury when he crashed his vehicle in Florida and has pleaded not guilty to driving under the influence. And let's recap our top stories. Before we go, the Prime Minister's national address urging Australians to keep calm and carry on as the local impact stemming from the Iran war intensifies. Donald Trump tells allies to get your own oil from the Strait of Hormuz, while hinting the US could pull out of NATO. And British Prime Minister Keir Starmer insists his country will not be drawn into the war as Donald Trump accuses the UK of not even having a navy. And that is your world for tonight. You can always watch the show on iView, and more of our stories and interviews can be found at the ABC's YouTube channel. I'm Girish Sawlani. Thanks very much for your company this evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Tonight, the Prime Minister makes a national address warning the months ahead may not be easy. The British Prime Minister follows suit, outlining measures to deal with the energy crisis triggered by the war in Iran. Rising inflation and higher interest rates hit homes as house prices go backwards in Sydney and Melbourne. And the remote community of Papuanya's living record of language on show in Canberra. Good evening, Yvonne Yong with ABC News, coming to you from the land of the Wurundjeri people. The Prime Minister has delivered a rare address to the nation amid the crisis in the Middle East, urging Australians to start conserving fuel if they can. Now, the war, now well into its fifth week, is sending shockwaves around the world, disrupting oil supplies and sending petrol and diesel prices soaring. Anthony Albanese sought to reassure Australians while warning the months ahead may not be easy. Here's National Affairs correspondent Jane Norman. Easter weekend is usually one of the busiest weekends for tourism in the NT, but for businesses still damaged after multiple weather events, this year is set to be a tough one. Some face bills that are piling up into the hundreds of thousands, leading to calls for government support. Let's go to finance now. Here's Alan Kohler.
Markets are so desperate for the war to end, they forgot it's April Fool's Day. Donald Trump told reporters in the Oval Office that the US would end its war with Iran within 2 or 3 weeks, whether there was a deal or not, but needs to do better. And that's finance.
New Manly coach Kieran Foran is adamant he's ready to lead an NRL team despite only retiring as a player last year. Foran has taken over from the sacked Anthony Seibold and will be at the helm of the Sea Eagles for tomorrow night's clash against the Dolphins. Let's check on tomorrow's weather around the country. Brisbane 28, a shower or two. Sydney mostly sunny 27. Canberra partly cloudy 27. Mostly sunny in Melbourne 24. Similar conditions for Adelaide 23. Hobart a chance of showers 22. Sunshine for Perth 26 and Darwin a shower or two with a top of 35. That's the latest from ABC News. Do stay with us. Australian Story is up next. I'm Yvonne Yong.
The pursuit of truth can be challenging. Are you still reluctant to criticise